This is Duke University.
State champion. It has an unbelievable ring to it. After 4 years of hard work and perseverance, I can finally call myself the Rhode Island state champion in long jump. With college right around the corner, I have universities knocking at my back door, offering me 4-year full rides. It's a really exciting time. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to end up, but I know wherever I do, it's going to be an amazing choice for me. Flashback 10 years. My dad's getting sick in the bathroom. I'm 8 years old. This is his 3rd time undergoing chemotherapy. I want to help him, but I don't know how. It's hard to see my dad so vulnerable when the dad's supposed to be the man and the supporter of the house. But he still wakes up every day and fights for his life. So now, Division I collegiate sports, as far as track goes, it's the least funded. So that's why when the Blue Devils offered me a scholarship, not for my first 2 years, but for my last 2 years offered me a full ride, I couldn't give up such an opportunity. Duke University, being one of the most prestigious institutions in the country, has not only students excelling in the classroom, but also on the field, and in my case, on the track. So after turning down several full ride 4-year scholarships, I decided to take my talents to Duke University, and so it began. Beep, 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 beep. It's 6:30 a.m., and it's time to wake up for my first practice of the day, lift. I go into practice, ready to give it my all as I always do. The sets are until failure, so squatting ridiculous amounts, bench pressing ridiculous amounts until it hurts, with my coach yelling at me, telling me that I need to finish. And I make it through, as I always do. And now it's time to mentally prepare for my classes for the day. 8:30 a.m., I'm in my first class. My legs are still shaking from lift this morning. And I'm pretty exhausted from this past weeks of practice. I'm listening to the professor and I want to get engaged, but all I can think about is this afternoon's practice, which I always dread. 11:30 a.m. I stop to grab a quick lunch. I'm starving and could literally eat everything in the room, but I also know that I have a heavy workout to come. So eating something heavy to have sitting in my stomach isn't ideal. So instead, I just grab something light and continue on. 2:30 p.m., time for my last class of the day. I'm exhausted, and at this point, all I can think about is the anxiety that I'm feeling for my practice to come. I know it's going to be hard, and I know I'm going to end up feeling really, really sick by the end of it. But I still push through and then head to practice. My heart's pounding, my vision's blurring. My legs already gave out a few sets ago, but I lie to myself and tell myself I only have a few sets left. My coach is screaming at me from the other side of the track to finish in the correct time that I'm supposed to be finishing in. And I know I'm going to finish because I always do, and I know I'm going to push myself 110% because I always do. I want to be the best athlete that I can be, and this is how I'm going to achieve that. Now let's talk about my dad, a life in the day of my dad. Flashback 5 years ago. My dad's once again overcoming his morning nausea. He wakes up and heads to the gym for the day. This is where he battles his cancer. He pushes himself to his limits every morning in the gym and hopes to make himself stronger. From here, he heads to chemotherapy for 3 hours. And then, being a business owner, he goes to his business, checks up on his business and makes sure everything's going okay, and then heads to the bank to make sure financials are all set in place. After this, he comes to pick up his little girl from school with a smile on his face and nothing but happy things to talk about. I know that he's not feeling okay and that things aren't necessarily okay. But I also know that he doesn't want to worry me with his sickness. So I also pretend everything's okay, and we head home for the day. It's the end of sophomore year, and I've survived. I've excelled both on the track and in the classroom, and I've had unbelievable experiences. As far as track goes, I qualified for ACC championships both my freshman and my sophomore year. I am the 5th best long jumper in Duke school history. I also placed at numerous meets and had a very successful career thus far. I didn't necessarily get to do everything that Duke had to offer me as far as in the classroom and other opportunities, but that's okay because I was working towards a goal. So it's time to head into my end of the year meeting with my coach to talk about goals for the following year as well as my scholarship. So the past few years, as I've gotten older and as I've matured, I've thought a lot about how my dad's been able to handle his sickness. I mean, he's been battling cancer for a decade now. It's come back 6 times. And I don't understand how a man can be so strong and wake up every morning and not only battle day-to-day battles that everyone faces, but also fight for his life on a daily basis. And this is a conversation that I had never had with him. So I finally muster up the courage to sit down with my dad and ask him, how do you do it? And he says, Carly, I have no control over my physical well-being. He says, the one thing I do have control over is the work that I put in at the gym every single day. I battle my cancer in the gym. I physically prepare myself to the best of my abilities so that when I go into that operation room, I can lie on the operation table, look at the surgeon, and say, I need you to be as aggressive as possible. I need you to get every single last piece of cancer that is in me out. And I know that if I have physically done everything that I've needed to do, and I tell the surgeon what I want him to do, the rest is left in God's hands. So I'm stepping into my end of the year track meeting, all smiles, excited, because I've had such a successful 2 years. And my coach looks at me, and she says, Carly, I'm sorry to tell you, but we had to give your scholarship to someone else. You've had a great career so far, and this is just a decision that we had to make. But if you we'll train hard this summer, and we'll see you in the fall. The word struck me like a brick. 2 years of going to practice every day and pushing myself to the physical limit of the exhaustion, of the triumphs and failures, of growing with my coach, of her working with me every day. And for her to sit there and tell me that she's not giving me the scholarship money that she promised me, I just felt so betrayed and so low. And I felt so speechless. So now here I am. I'm still on the track team as of right now. I'm not sure if I will be on the track team a few weeks from now. Duke has so many opportunities to offer me, and the drain that track has on me every day, and I'm not sure if that's something that I want to continue with. But for now, I love the fight. For now, I'm going to continue to train my body and prepare my body the best that I can every day for what the future has to hold. If my dad can fight for his life every single day, so can I. My dad has made me a fighter. You can push me down, you can push my dad down, but we'll always stand back up. I will persevere.
Gregory.